Hi, everyone. So it's me and Kirsten.
Hey, guys.
So who's here? So we have Mia, we have Hannah, we have Lily, we have Cassandra. I'm going to check on YouTube for 1 second. Hold on, I'm on my laptop. And make sure that we're live there, which may or may not happen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, yeah, we're live. Yay. There's us. It's us again. We're here. And we're here. Hey, Judy. Hey, Serena. Thanks for joining us. We're so excited. I love that conference.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of my favorite conferences that I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
So well done. And I think that the 3-day conference is done a lot nowadays by different people, big and small. And yeah, it's definitely one of the best business ones I've ever been to.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying that on Instagram stories, show up because it's the best one, ever. Not this year or this, last couple of years. So.
Have you been to his 3-day high performance habits one?
No, this is actually the first one I've ever gone to.
Yeah, me too.
So.
Because I think he does one for that, but that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think that's more for coaching, maybe.
I think so. Personal development. Have you guys been to any of his events? Let us know. Maybe, I don't know if, I think I've heard some people go to every single event every year.
Yeah.
So they just get so inspired.
And we were talking about is Brendan Burchard. And his event is the influencer event.
Yeah.
First ever.
Oh yeah. If you're just joining us, I'm Lisa and this is Kirsten.
Hey everybody.
And we are just recapping our experience at the Brendan Burchard influencer event. We did a top 10 list for you, but there was way more and it would have been a 10-hour video. Plus we wanted to make sure we answered if you guys had questions about anything specific. And just so you know, we are not even at our own house. We're at Camila's house.
Yes, we're cat sitting her cat right now.
And MIA. Just every time I tried to do a cat video, he's just
so you might run by in the background for the famous cat. Where was the conference? The conference was in San Diego, California, and it was at the Marriott Marquis.
Yep, the Marriott downtown. So it was really convenient. It was right next to Seaport and also next to my favorite place, which is the Cheesecake Factory. Obviously,
I love their bread.
Only important to me.
So good. We have had lunch there before.
Yeah, that's true. We did. So where do we want to start? If you guys have questions, let us know. Otherwise, we were just going to start recapping things. I think what we should say, though, is the thing that made it different than other conferences is that he had a lot of major, big time speakers. Usually people bring in people and they're this person's making $1 million and this person's making $1 million. He brought in people that were making billions. So I feel if you were looking for something to up level, that was it, right? We're not aiming for 7 figures. We're aiming for, is that 8 figures?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah, 8 figures.
Yeah, it's interesting because you'll notice that people that are making less than 6 figures usually have certain habits and fears. And the people that are making, 6 figures usually have different habits and fears. I mean, same fears, just bigger, I guess. And then, once you get to the 7-figure, they're machines. And it's pretty cool to see. For example, I was talking to my friend who's in Brendan Burchard's mastermind, and he was talking about how Brendan has a really intense morning and night routine because he's just so committed to excellence and to performing so well that he'll go to bed or start winding down at 9 and take an ice bath and do all these things. Serena, what fears do billionaires have?
None.
Well,
I don't know.
No, they have the same fears that we have. We, I mean, us peons, that's good. But they just are so driven and committed to their dream and their why. And so, for example, one of the billionaires that spoke was the CEO of It Cosmetics. What was her name again?
Jamie Kern, or Lima Kern.
Yes.
Kern Lima, yeah.
Yes, Jamie Kern Lima. And she was amazing. She basically was sold her company, It Cosmetics, for $1 billion to L'Oreal. and became the first female CEO ever in their company history. But she was telling us about how she was told no so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like, as an entrepreneur and other, just like in life, you get told no. And a lot of times it'll be discouraging. And sometimes then you'll try again and maybe another time. But then sometimes we're like, this maybe just isn't for me. But she just knew her mission, and she knew why she wanted to make it cosmetics a global thing. And she was just, there's Loki.
Yeah.
She was just driven. And she came back to the same people that told her no over and over and over. And don't get me wrong, like, she did say, like, I cried. I was in bed for 3 days. Like, life sucked. But then I remembered why we were different, why we were important, and why we were making a difference. And so her perseverance through her fears is the difference, I think, that from a billionaire to maybe somebody that's not there yet.
I think two other underlying themes that the billionaires had that others didn't is, one, they were really dedicated to working the long hours. Like, nobody was like bragging that I only do a 4-hour work week or I only do a 3-day. Like, that wasn't even like an issue, a complaint. They didn't even discuss it. Like, they were just like, we put our nose to the grindstone. We just kept going.
They're saying 100-hour weeks.
Yeah. 100-hour weeks was a quote from Jamie. And when she got disappointed, I think the other second thing too is when she got disappointed, she would cry and she'd be upset, but she was never petty where she was like, I can't wait to get even with that person, right? And so a big person was the QVC guy that had told her, you're not a fit. And she had just, tears streaming. And then later on, when she did finally get into QVC, she wasn't like, haha, you big jerk. She became friends with him and he became her mentor, and she hired him onto her board, which I think sometimes when you're not at that $1 billion level, it's so easy to be petty and just angry at people that wrong you.
Yeah, like an I'll show you. She gave a good story about Sephora, how one of the women was kind of petty. She was like the head buyer and said, if your product meant anything, I would know about it. And she was just crushed.
Yeah. And she went on to personally insult her too. And she was like, people who want to sell beauty products don't look like you. And like, implying that she was overweight and she wasn't pretty enough.
Yes, definitely. And she was like, I was devastated. And she was like, but and she wasn't like super overweight. She didn't look unhealthy to me.
Not at all.
She just looked curvier. And she said, if I were to lose the weight and be one of the like fit models, one of the quote unquote like trying to look perfect, that would be inauthentic to my brand. And then that would pull it down, because that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for everyday women that need this. And a little bit of backstory is she was a TV reporter and she had really bad rosacea. And she said that she would try like every single type of makeup to try and cover it. And she realized that there was nothing out there. So her and her husband decided to go all in full time and create It Cosmetics. It was a makeup that finally covered rosacea. It was funny because I was sitting next to a woman who said, that changed my life. So she created this product that was that helped women feel comfortable in their skin, because like rosacea, as far as I know, is not curable. And so, you don't want people to always think like, why do you have that on your face?
Right.
Her producer was like, you got something on your face, because her makeup was like cracking a little bit. And she's like, I know exactly what that is. So she found something. She wanted to help women that had all different types of skin, like not perfect skin, because she's like, when you see these women on QVC or in these ads, they all have perfect glowing skin as they're, putting the makeup on their, or not the makeup, they're like doing the water, the slow motion water to wash their face, and then they're like glowy. It's like, wait, you don't have makeup on that? So that was one of the big things that I thought was amazing too, is she just really knew why she was doing this and stuck to her mission. And she said, choosing and making decisions based on my gut, not necessarily what the experts told me, was really also important, because there are some times that she was telling her story about progression of her business. And she was like, everyone was telling me you should do this, or you're crazy if you do that. And she's like, you know what? I really thought about it. I thought about the women, and I went with my gut. And every time it worked out. And she said, really understand the power of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the other thing too is the other guy, Tom Bilyeu, the Quest bars. He just had a vision, right? They both had something that they were so passionate about. That's why it's so important to pick something that you love and versus something that you think is going to be like a gimmick, make money quick scheme. And he just knew that this would work, even though he couldn't find any manufacturers, he couldn't find any help to get him to just get started in the beginning. So
yeah, that's a really great thing. And I think Lewis Howes brought this up too. It says, don't choose something that you're going to make necessarily money. Well, I mean, you do want to, of course, make money, but don't choose it because of the money, and don't necessarily choose it because of the passion, because passions come and go. Choose it because of the purpose. And if you have that purpose that's really there, then it's like, it's something that's greater than you. And that, because sometimes people have a hard time getting motivated for themselves, but they get motivated for their daughter or for their husband or their mom. And they're like, I want to make life better for them. And that alone is better. And that's okay. Because sometimes, like I think Brendon Burchard mentioned, like if you can't be motivated for excellence for yourself, who in your life do you need to do it for? And like he gave us some time, like think about it, who is that person? And yeah, I think that's really powerful too.
Well, I think honestly I found that to be it was a common thread too for the men, I thought, more than the women. So like Brendon Burchard himself, Tom Bilyeu, and both Trent Shelton, all the men got up there and they were like, I looked over at my significant other and I thought I really need to support her and I really need to be like making her life better. And I don't know that women don't feel that way, but I think because men are wired, remember their number one shame is not making enough money. I think for them that helps, you know, their self-esteem and to feel proud, and that helps them connect better with like finding a purpose.
Definitely.
So
yeah, and even though the event was called Influencer, and I was telling Lisa before we went, like, oh, like is he gonna tell us like how to do the right butt selfie shot, or you know what? Like I don't know, like especially nowadays, like what is influence, you know? And really everyone is an influencer because you are, like, whether you're on social media or not, like you have influence in people that are surrounding you. So like really step into the mindset of being a role model every day, because you never know who's watching.
Yeah, anybody can. It's just like when you're little kids and there was like that girl that got into trouble down the street and your mom was like, don't hang out with her, she's a bad influence. She was an influencer.
Yeah. And right now I think with media and other things, there's a lot of, I actually don't really watch a lot of television, other than The Good Place. That's a show I've binged and I love it. It's kind of like funny because it's about like,
it's very clever,
like theology, or what do you call it? Ethics and stuff. Yeah, love The Good Place. Yeah, but I really don't watch like much news or other things because I feel like, you know, you just, I don't even know where I was going with this. You never know
influences.
Yeah, what the intention is behind it, and I think there's a lot of fear. And so he was talking about like right now if we can do as much as we can to bring more positivity into the world, and that alone is gonna, you know, like the world really needs that, and really like helping people step outside of themselves and be like, it's not about you, because a lot of the influencer society is like, look at what I
just look at me,
you know, and so it's like, how can you really establish yourself as someone with influence that is like more sustainable and for purpose and to make the world better.
Let's read our comments. So Serena, perseverance past fear, love it. Such a good story, thinking of ideas and ideals versus being stuck on petty issues. That's when we're talking about themes. And knowing your why is definitely a key factor in perseverance. We have a couple questions.
Oh, cool.
So From Diane, did people tell you guys no when you were starting your business? People tell me no every day still today.
I got told no on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, it depends. So what I do is I had a writer friend who I love, and she just meant well. And I had an idea for a book, and she was like, that's a dumb idea. That's never going to sell. Don't do that. And so I was really sad about it. And so what I do when I'm sad is I text or call Kirsten. Like, I'm so sad. Should I not do this? And then she like peps me back up. And so that's my go-to. I don't know what you do. You know.
So I think about it, and sometimes I'm gonna throw in a George Strait country song, or maybe it's Garth Brooks. Thank God for unanswered prayers.
Oh, Garth Brooks, yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
And sometimes, you can be so bummed. You're like, oh, this was the perfect opportunity, or this was the best thing. But sometimes a door closes because you need to have space or be available for something greater. And so when I'm trying to do something, I set the intention and I'll say, like, I want this or something better. Because sometimes I don't even know what the possibilities are for me. I can just see that ahead, but I don't know if I would have gotten that, then I would have been able to be led, I wouldn't have been able to go like to the influencer event and be here right now. So, and then also, oh, I love this. When one door closes, another one opens. It's the hallway. That's the bitch. I love that. Yeah, definitely. And then when people tell me no, I always think of
do you get discouraged by it, or do you just keep going?
I sometimes get discouraged. Yeah, I mean, that's natural, but being able to shift out of it quickly is, I think, important. And so being like, okay, why did I get no? And asking for feedback. Be like, if, for example, I had a call with somebody and they were interested in having me help them out with this 3-day event. They've never done it before, smaller scale, and I've helped clients do events. And I actually could feel in my gut that it wasn't going to be a yes too. And I just felt like it was more than what she needed. But when I finally followed up with her and said okay, what was the reason? She's like, oh, I think it wasn't the price. You just are offering more than what I need. And I was like, oh, maybe I just need to simplify how I talk about these things. I wanted to be like, okay, you get this, 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 this. And maybe even all the things I was giving her were overwhelming her. And she was like, oh, I just want this. So, and then also I've got a couple of things going for my main project. And I was like, you know what, I probably should stay focused on this. And that kind of leads back to one thing that Brendan was saying. Stop trying to make 10 different businesses, services, a million of them. Like Apple, a lot of these successful businesses, they have 1 to 3 main product lines or brands. So just staying focused.
Yeah, that's kind of leading into Diane's next question. Are you going to make changes in your company based on what you learned at the event? I mean, for sure. I think the biggest one for me wasn't really new concepts, just because I've been in business for a few years. I think it was really good. There were some people there, which is great, that were brand new, right? And they were just starting out. But I think for me, it was, I'm always like, what new product can I create that people will want? And the biggest change I'm making is paid Facebook ads. So I just hired someone.
Oh, congratulations.
So it's $1,000 a month. And so I am going to be, and that's not what I'm spending for Facebook ads. That's just for the help. I'm going to start running paid Facebook ads, because he made a good point. Instead, have you really reached everybody? I haven't. No. And so instead of creating new products for my current audience, I'm just going to expand my audience and try to reach more people.
Yeah, no, that's a huge thing. And we can even I don't see if I have a
Are you making any changes in your business?
Oh, am I making changes in my business? I just want to have that one-hit wonder and stop creating, I think, like you, more services, because I'm known for a few different areas of business. I'm known for events. I'm known for just helping people make projects happen, organization, and then this product that I'm launching called Inbox Zen. There is consulting that I do off of that for like communications and operations. And so I've decided that I need to release a lot of the other stuff that I'm doing and only focus on that. And like, for example, when I introduce myself, I'm the creator of Inbox Zen. And so then people really know, like, they're like, oh, like, what is that? And so I'm very specific. And so all my energy is going into one thing instead of like, I do business consulting, you know, because that's pretty broad and people don't really know. But if I'm like, I help you alleviate the overwhelm in your inbox and help you regain a level of excellence in your communication with your team and your clients, people are like, oh crap, like my inbox is at 3 million right now and I have 17 people I need to get back to. You know what I mean? So that is a specific thing that people will be like, oh, okay, I need this. Yeah.
So we switched over to YouTube. So hi, Deborah. Hi, Zach. Zach, what's an influencer? Deborah, am I alone in this chat room? No, we're here. Lisa's events always seem to have issues. I will be back after things get organized. I don't have time to waste while people get their act together. Aw. I mean, I don't know. I think there's 4 people watching on YouTube. It's just less people on YouTube. We're mostly over on Crowdcast, so maybe that's where it just looks.
You know, I wonder if you could do, Lisa, is just hold the tab and then make it smaller so then you can see both at the same time.
Could try.
I don't know. I've never done either of these before.
Usually, well, I have that 34-inch ultra wide at home.
Oh.
So that's why. Oh, there we go. Now we can see both tabs.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. I did promise everyone the list.
Yeah.
So I will read that list. So I promised you guys I would give you the list for 10 steps to a major influencer career. So these were from Brendan, and hopefully, Zach, this answers your question on what's an influencer. It's anybody, honestly, who's just online. I think anybody can be an influencer. Or not even online. You could just be an influencer just in everyday life. Yeah, you're always influencing people. One is just claim and master your topic, like we were talking, just one topic. Number 2 is discover your audience's problems and ambitions. Number 3, define who you are and what messages you value. 4 is create a solution, like a product or a service. Number 5 is put up a vlog or blog. That's B like boy or B like Victor. And every week, create significant posts and videos. Number 6, post and promote free content daily. So that was a lot, but he did say you could take your content, that one thing that you had posted for the week, and just recycle it. Like maybe like short snippets or quotes. Number 7, create evergreen campaigns to sell your offerings. Number 8, run ads to scale. Number 9, get promotional partners. And number 10, focus on 3 things, distinction, excellence, and I apologize, I don't know what the third one was.
Oh, let me see. I might have written it down.
It was that very first day. While Kirsten's looking that up, the next thing I promised was to give you guys the 4 key customer insights that you need to ask. Oh, service, good. So that was distinction, excellence, and service. And then the 4 key customer insights are, what are you trying to accomplish this year? That's what you want to know about your customer. What do you think they need? And what strategies have you already tried to improve your business or life that worked and what didn't work? And number 4, who or what do you think holds you back the most? And those, if you get all of those, that's actually what will help you to write your sales page. Because that's what your customer's already thinking and that's their own words. So you could do that in a survey. You could do that. He was big into coaching. I actually don't coach people, but I think when you do coaching, which is true, he said you get to learn more about your customer, but 2, you also get to practice getting them to have a positive change.
You know, one thing that I thought was interesting is that he mentioned one-to-one coaching. He did say, like, if I were to do it all over again, here's how I would run my business. He would have a subscription model. Yes. He would have an online course. He would do one-to-one coaching. And he would, what was the other thing?
Subscription.
And ebooks.
Yeah,
ebooks. So I actually think that one-to-one coaching is super time-consuming and actually not as beneficial as group coaching. I think that because I've done both, and I've like been in and also helped lead both. And I just feel like the power of the collective is so much more powerful. And just as a person running it, it's a lot less work because you're kind of taking people through a sequence on how to get from A to Z, like where they want to go. Whereas sometimes one-to-one coaching, other things can like pop up that might derail that a little bit. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm just not built personally for one-on-one coaching or one-on-one like client work. So I think it's important to know who you are and what you're good at. Like even when I worked in fitness before online was ever a thing, I did better teaching group exercise classes than I ever did doing one-on-one personal training. And I think that's just my personality and how I'm set up. Plus I like the energy, like you said, of a group. But I'm not, this is a big distinction. I am like a lecturer versus a community builder. There are some people who are really excellent at getting a lot of people to help each other and building like a sisterhood. That's also not my strength either. So
I like this question from Zach.
Zach, do you have to act crazy to be famous like PewDiePie, the biggest author tuber, Jenna Morishi, and a couple of the biggest booktubers, Katie Tastic and Poland Banana Books at Cray as entertainment? I mean, there are entertainment channels that definitely do well with doing that, but I would almost say that that's probably like, especially Jenna Marbles, I think that's their natural personality. I don't think they have to act. So I think maybe it becomes natural. Right.
I think that a lot of times, and they mention this too, is like, what is being real? Like nowadays people are like, I'm so authentic. I'm going to tell you about my deepest, darkest secret. And here's a quote about this picture frame, or, you know, like, and every single thing is like this melodramatic thing. And they think of that as authentic. Authentic is just like, I don't drink alcohol, or I don't, which I do every now and then. But like that's just being authentic, or just saying like, you know, I love going thrift shopping at Goodwill, or I love doing this. Like that is just you being real. You don't necessarily have to go and tell a very vulnerable story, but when you are doing something that might scare you or put you out of your comfort zone or might not seem socially acceptable, and you share that experience, you're opening up yourself to a level of connection that people can be like, oh, me too. Like I felt that way and I didn't think I could talk about it. And now it's kind of giving people permission to not be perfect, or to not, I don't know. There was one woman on, that made how much $10-12 million on her
Natalie Hodson
guides. And she was researching like what her audience was searching for, what key terms, and it was like pelvic
floor. We've never had babies. No. It has something to do, after you have a baby, your pelvic floor I think is looser or something.
And so basically she did like workout stuff and workout videos, and then like one day there was a lot of jumping and she literally peed her pants, and she was wearing gray pants, so you could totally tell it, and that she did it. And basically pelvic whatever syndrome is peeing your pants, like she said, after we had babies. And so she worked with this other trainer, and they put together this guide on how to fix that in like 12 weeks. But she shared her story of like, guys, this is a thing that happens to moms. And then she showed the video, and then she did to sell the guide or the whatever program. And she made like $1 million in 6 weeks.
Yeah. And she said she spent $37 on the book.
And she didn't even, it was $37 per thing. So that's how many people have that problem. You got to think about how many moms are like in the U.S. and if you're just talking about the U.S. So that's another thing, is I think a lot of people think, oh, I need to have like a super high ticket program and get like 5 people or something. But if you use ads and you find the people that want what you have to offer and expand your reach, Brendan said it's like printing money, because you're basically giving your product to the people that want to buy it. And you're letting algorithms or you're letting the system do it for you. Obviously, it's good to have strategic advisors, so you're not just like throwing money and you're seeing what works, but creating funnels that will build you income like this, and it doesn't have to be super high ticket products. So.
Yeah, I think too, there's also just people who are famous like Kim Kardashian, right? And so she never was like, let me build a funnel to segue into to monetize my audience. So I feel like some people do, I don't want to say lucky, I think they work really hard with their YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But sometimes things catch on and they become viral, and sometimes things don't. And
like, for example, what Chewbacca mom?
I don't know who that is.
The woman that wore the Chewbacca mask, that one like a couple years ago, and then she started like laughing hysterically, and like she posted this video. Then she was like on Ellen, she was at Disney, she was doing all these things because she was just like so adorable, and it was funny, and I think it was around Star Wars too, so that was like probably did a promotional thing, but she had no audience before. She, I think, posted on her Facebook. It went viral. Like, so there are ways that it can just be a fluke. And so at the end of the day, if you don't overthink it and you just create content that provides value, whether it's entertainment, informational, like, inspirational, that's all that really matters. Like they said, forget about the algorithms. Like if you help people stay on the content longer, that's going to help the algorithm.
Yeah.
And so if you create good content, people stay on it longer. It's that simple.
Plus, I mean, you don't have to be like, I'm definitely not that funny, crazy person. I mean, that would feel so inauthentic and fake, and I would probably just look kind of dumb. So it's totally okay to build an audience just being you and just, slowly, like obviously I'm growing way slower, but I'm growing the right kind of audience. Do you know what I mean? So people that would love watching PewDiePie or Kim Kardashian aren't going to be like, I could watch Kim Kardashian or I could watch Lisa. That's not going to be the same audience.
And I think the main thing is if you want to be an influencer, don't confuse them. More of a prominent influencer. It's like, so they know like who you are, what you stand for, and that can shift like what you're doing. But if you have, like Rachel Hall said from the very beginning, what is her slogan? Like, I will give you the tools to something.
I don't remember. She had a mission statement. I just help you.
Yeah.
Something very general.
Yeah. And so that was her mission statement from like when she started her blog with just like making recipes to now when she's doing like her bigger brand, but she still has the same mission that she wants to like give women these tools. Which I can't even remember who she is. But so it's saying like as you can shift and you can pivot, but as long as you again know your purpose, that's really important.
Yeah. Do you guys have other questions, or what do we want to share?
Let's see. Did anyone ask a question over here? No.
So I did have, Natalie Hodson is the one that she was the one where I was like so blown away because she was like, I spent $37 and then the book just happened to make $1 million. So her method was for sharing vulnerability, because that's really like her peeing her pants was the thing that segued into people connecting with her. And so she said she used what was called a drop method, and that's being kind of dramatic. A reminder, something old, and a plan to move forward. So her thing was share scars, not wounds. So if you're going through something right now, it's probably not the right time to share it with your audience. Once it's done and it's healed, then you can share it with your audience because you're still going through it right now.
But she did mention like keep a notepad or like a note section in your phone and write down like what it is and how you're feeling, so then you can go back and when you're writing the post or the story, you can still step into how you felt, because that's going to be powerful. But it's when you haven't healed that yet, you can get defensive, you can like the wrong, because it's the internet, not everyone is nice. So it's like you want to be a little bit more like, share, like, even if I don't know. I've heard this a few times too. It's like, it's great to be vulnerable, but if someone pissed you off and then you go on social media and talk about how you're pissed off, like, probably not the best idea, you know?
Yeah, there was, I mean, plus, you know, not that there's anything wrong with sharing it, but that's probably not the right platform or forum, only because the whole point of this was so that you could help others. And if you're still going through it, you're not really able to help others as much, I don't think.
Yeah. Or you can say, like, this is what happened, and through that I realized this, and here's what I plan to do. So yeah, that's where it comes into the plan. And like, yeah, if you're going through that, and the best thing you can do is like text your friend and be like, oh my God, vent to them, you know.
This is my platform.
But yeah, I thought that was a great way, a formula on how to be real. And she says that this is what she does for all of her stuff.
Just looking through, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, we could talk about books because this is the author channel. So Rachel Hollis was probably the only, other than, so Natalie Hodson talks about her books, but not really a strategy. She was basically just talking about how to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and there were more like, I feel like guides, not necessarily books, I think she called them.
And then Rachel Hollis said the famous quote where, you know, Girl Wash Your Face did really well, it hit the New York Times bestseller. And she said that wasn't my first book, that was like my 8th book. And so, yeah. Oh, we have a question?
Oh, yeah. So that was kind of funny. They're like, congratulations, your first book, overnight success, amazing. Like on Good Morning America, she's like, it's my 6th book.
Yeah.
You know, for Girl Wash Your Face. And then their Girl Stop Apologizing came out, and they were like, oh, the 2nd book, it's so great. Like, oh, so happy. Might be weird and annoying right now. And then she was like, it's my 8th book. You guys didn't even notice I released one in between. And so, and she was like big by then. So she said, be careful, or not be careful. Like, she's like, your first book is gonna suck. Your 2nd book is gonna suck. Your 3rd book is gonna suck. Your 4th book, you're gonna start getting better. And so it was, she was just like, you have permission to suck. You know, and one quote that I thought Brendan shared, it was by Zig Ziglar. It's like, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, I know myself, sometimes I get stuck in perfectionism and going like, oh, it's not good enough. Well, there's always going to be iterations, and I'm always going to get smarter and better and like understand my audience better. But if I don't put anything out, then it's never going to even start, you know?
Yeah, you can't ever get better. It's like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours.
Yes.
If you don't start, you're never going to have 10,000 hours.
True.
But we have questions. So Diane, how have you ever been into another wealth building event like Anthony Robbins? So I've gone to the Tony Robbins, the Fire Walk. Have you gone to that one? I actually didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like jazzed up about it like I thought I would be. But I guess I did like it because after I went to the Tony Robbins event, this is like 20 years ago, I was in corporate America, and afterwards I was motivated. I guess I should take that back. And I quit my job the next day. I was like, you know what?
Sounds like it made an impact on me.
Yeah, I guess it did. But
it was horrible. I just like was super inspired and quit my job the next day.
But yeah, I was inspired because I was like, I should do something that I'm passionate about. And so I quit and started working in fitness full time. But have you been to a Tony Robbins?
So I have not. I used to host a money meetup, and we had one of their speakers from the Tony Robbins program come and speak for people. But one of my good friends, she's been to, or I've had a couple friends that have gone, and it's just like 3 days of super high energy from like early morning to sometimes past midnight, which I'm totally a grandma and really love getting in bed by like 9:30. So I'm a big hang. But I think one day I'd love to go, and I know he has a place in like Tahiti or Fiji or something.
Oh, really?
His home, and like I'd rather go there. I want to go.
He has multiple homes, right?
Probably,
yeah.
But I know he has one there, and so I would love, because he sometimes does like masterminds or events, but they're probably like $1 billion.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you want to go to an event with Tony. So this is so long ago, maybe it was even longer, that Tony actually was ran the event.
Oh wow.
Because this was I'm going to date myself. No, it was 2000. It was the year it was 2000. I remember that. So he was still doing things in person back then.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Next question, Diane, if you could go back, is there anything you would do differently in business? Oh my God, I would do everything differently. I do everything differently in life, but I don't know. You can go first.
Yeah, so I think I started out the right way, and then I let fear kind of get in the way. And so by starting out the right way is I basically said, so when I decided I wanted to leave my corporate job, I was like, what am I good at? I'm really good at creating processes. I'm really good at creating systems. So what does that mean? And then I learned that there was a certification. So I was like, I'm going to get the certification, but I was trying to get into the program. It took a while. And so in the meantime, I went to this co-working space and I just said like, oh yeah, I do process improvement. And I'd never heard anyone really say that before. But lo and behold, there was somebody that had an agency or a consulting firm, a small consulting firm that specialized in process improvement. And they happened to meet somebody because they got a big client. And so they interviewed me. And they're like, oh yeah, so tell us about your experience, blah, blah. I told them like, oh yeah, it's worked for Disney, Virgin America, all these things. And then they're like, do you know the program Visio? It's for process mapping. And I'm like, have my computer in front of me while I'm on this phone call. And I'm like, what is Visio? Like, Google, thank you. And I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, Visio, love Visio. Like, you know, do it in my sleep kind of thing. And the reason why I said that is because I'm really tech savvy and usually I can pick up programs pretty quickly. So I didn't really say it from a place out of integrity. I said it from a place of I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to make this happen. I'm not going to let this be a barrier to where I want to be. Because I think too often we feel like we need to have everything figured out. What is that one statistic? Like you should know because of HR. I think like 95% of women that apply for jobs are usually like 90% qualified or something, and men are like 40. I don't know. So like I feel like men are a lot better at doing this. So anyways, I got that consulting job and I started doing consulting, but then I got distracted because I was doing independent consulting. So I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna try different things. So I was trying different things. But then I was trying event stuff and this stuff and that stuff, and I wasn't staying focused. So then I wasn't able to really hone in my process quickly or create my own system for my business. And it took me a lot longer. So if I would have, and this is a thing for all you multi-passionate people, it's okay to be multi-passionate. But if you want to make a difference, pick one thing now. Work on it for a little bit. And then once that thing is rolling, then pick your next thing and your next thing. Do one thing at a time. It's gonna like make your life so much easier. You're gonna know how to introduce yourself. You're gonna know like you're gonna be able to actually like have a business that can run without you. So I would say that I would have set myself up that way earlier, because I've been doing consulting for like 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And so I think I would have been farther along in my business if I would have stayed more focused and not been like afraid that there wouldn't be enough work. Because when you say what you do with confidence and you know you can help people just like come out of the woodwork. And it's actually good to have just like a piece of the puzzle and then come in, be excellent and get out, come in, be excellent, get out. Because I think that there's other people that are really good at the other pieces, and then you can have partnerships or referrals with them. Like, don't be like, oh, my client needs ads, so now I'm going to figure out how to run Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Like, I used to like learn things to do that. So that is like, I guess my long-winded story is what I would do differently in the beginning.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, same thing. I would definitely focus more because I was interested in so many things. And just like Kirsten, like if you ask me to do something, I'm like, I can figure that out and I will just learn it and do it. And why would I waste all that time learning to do something? And sometimes you're just passionate about it. You're like, I might as well learn that. That's a good thing to learn. So I definitely would have been way more focused. And my biggest thing, which I've learned recently, just my personality, because I have high context and high harmony.
What does that mean?
Oh, high context means that I like going to experts or subject matter experts or whatever and getting their opinion. Mm-hmm. But when I get it, I feel like because I have high harmony, I don't like what I'm doing to be out of alignment with the advice I've received from this expert.
Oh, okay.
So what I've learned about myself is when I first started, there was someone who just very negative influence, and just like, I'm just going to call it like a frenemy, and just in your ear all the time. And so like I would start and stop things because I was hearing from the frenemy that this wasn't a good idea to do. So, now what I do differently is I have a very small group of friends, right? Like it's Kirsten, it's Camila, it's Meg, it's Lauren, like, and that's it. So you'll notice in my videos and on my blogs, it's the same people over and over again. So I'm extra careful about who I let into my circle and who I let influence me. And I, not that I'm not friendly to other people, but I don't let them in. Mm-hmm. And that to me has really accelerated I'm happier every day.
Yeah. That actually leads to a good point that one of the speakers, I forget who said it, but like, if your family doesn't believe in you or your friends don't believe in you, it doesn't mean that you have to cut them out of your life. Like, I only want people that 100% support my dreams. It's like, you can go to family dinner and, talk about the weather, talk about the school play or whatever, but you don't necessarily need to share about your business because they just don't get it and they don't understand, and that's okay. And it's up to you to be aware enough to know who you talk to, because really whenever you share something, you're immediately asking for them to weigh in on it. Mm-hmm. And if their opinion is not going to help you or push you forward, share it. And I know, like, one of my mentors, Lori Harder, she basically had to kind of like walk away from her family in a way because they were so against her entrepreneurship journey. And like 10 years later, they're really supportive now. But she had to know that like, this is what I want to do. And now they're coming back around, but it took like 10 years. And so not everybody. Like, I remember one of my best friends, she was telling like the nail salon lady about something, and the nail salon lady was like giving her this weird advice, and I was like, why are you asking? Why are you telling her? Like, I know you're trying to create connection, but like, let's not talk about your divorce to her, So just be like really conscious of who you're asking for. I guess not even permission, but just like information from.
Some people aren't as affected as that either. So like my boyfriend, for example, he's a super extrovert, and like I have 5 close friends and he has 5,000 close friends, right? And it doesn't bother him. Like, he talks to 50 people one day, 50 totally different people the next day, and that's just a different personality and dynamic. And if he gets advice from someone that he doesn't agree with, it just rolls off of him. Like, he doesn't even care because he's going to talk to 20 more people in the next 10 minutes. So, if your personality's like that, maybe, it doesn't matter. I think some people are more affected. I don't know how you grew up. My dad is like the greatest dad ever. And so anytime I wanted to do something, he would be like, you can totally do that. You're going to rock it, and you're going to be amazing, and you're going to do 1,000%. Like, my dad has always been super positive, encouraging. And so I guess kind of like, I was sheltered. I grew up with only hearing that I was going to be amazing and everything was going to be great, and I'm so smart.
But you are amazing.
See, that's why I keep Kirsten around. But so for me to hear anything that's not remotely close to that is like jarring, because I'm not used to that. I'm like ever hearing anything negative.
Well, I think I've learned, so one of my favorite books is The 4 Agreements. And one of the agreements is be impeccable with your word. And I think in addition to that, I think the whole like thumper from Bambi, don't say anything nice, or if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So I think that there's a balance of constructive criticism. So are you saying something because it's actually going to help them or hurt them? So knowing what your intention when you are giving feedback, because I'm pretty real when like friends come to me with things, I'm like, whoa, you're getting shiny object syndrome, or like, I really don't think that's going to work, or like, I think you're being a victim right now and I'm going to call you out, but like, so like, I'm not afraid to say that, but they know that I'm saying it from like a loving place where like I want to help pull them back out of that. And so yeah, I'm not as cool as her dad at all. No. So but like, for example, like I'm not going to go to Lisa and be like, hey, can you tell me how to like drywall my house? You know, I'm going to ask Google that. No.
I might know.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just ask you everything. So it's the whole point is like when you're asking for help or you're asking for advice or feedback, like just set yourself up for success as well. And then if they do give you feedback or what sometimes feels like criticism, be open to it, because those are gems. Like the and almost like we were talking about earlier, the no's, like sometimes that's the best gems in your business.
Let's check. Lily, thank you for sharing. Diane, your dad sounds great. Yeah, I'm an only child too, so I don't know if that makes a difference. Oh, no other questions on YouTube. All right, do we have anything else? Oh, if you guys want, if you like hanging out with us, we'll be together again, same time next week on Tuesday, but we're talking about something different.
Yes. We're talking about overcoming fear in your business and some frameworks and strategies, and we'll also be taking questions, so like some fears that you're going through and how to work through them. And sometimes fear can show up like anxiety. I used to have really, really bad anxiety, and I'm happy to say that I probably haven't had everyone has a little anxiety, but I haven't had the like paralyzing anxiety I've had in probably like 8 years. So I'm super excited to share what I've done for myself, and also running a business. It's hard because like you are the customer service, you're the payroll, you're everything. So you're not only supposed to do like your zone of genius, but you have to make sure that the clients are coming in, like if you have an assistant or somebody that you're paying. So there can be a lot of added stress, and just like the tools and techniques that I've used to help overcome that, and really help get through also perfectionism as well. So would love to see you guys all there.
Yeah. Plus, we can answer more questions if you think about them later. I mean, the whole reason that we're doing, well, today we were just so excited about this event. We wanted to talk about it. But next week we wanted to share, I asked Kirsten to talk about it because I have people in Planner Academy, and I've been trying to get testimonials. And I've noticed that people aren't completing the course, or they are completing the course, but they're just not putting their planner out there. And right now it's the prime season to put out your 2020 planner. And I just hear, I'm afraid, or they're not saying I'm afraid so much as they're saying, well, I don't think it's going to sell. Well, I think the market's saturated. And I feel like this is just fear talking, right? There's tons of people on YouTube right now, but we're still here. There's tons of people doing everything that we're doing, like millions of people, but we're still doing it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, nobody cares.
Yeah. So true.
Nobody cares. We're like, oh my God, like this, that. Like, no one's gonna remember. They're gonna remember how you made them feel. And if, for example, Planner Academy, if you put out a planner and now someone's able to feel organized and know what they're doing, like that is a huge impact. And one thing that Brendan said too is one person was like, Brendan, but I only impacted 100 people.
Right.
And then he made 100 people stand up. And it was actually quite a few people. And it's like, wow, how cool that you were able to impact 100 people, because they all have brothers or sisters or parents or best friends. And, you know, if you impact them, then it's like the ripple effect.
Yeah.
So, and you know what, maybe even if no one buys it, it was something that you needed to do to get started, to be great.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's also about gratitude. Like, don't belittle and discount the people that do show up to hear your message. And, you know, just, you're not going to grow that way. And it also is just going to not, you know, you're always going to be disappointed. It's only going to be 100, and then it's only 200, and then it's only 1,000, right? Like, you know, I'm grateful for all of you that are here, and I'm grateful for everyone who's watching this later. And I think because of that, and because I'm excited, like today, like we're not trying to monetize anything, we're just excited to talk and share things with you guys. So
yeah, I'm grateful that I'm doing this. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
This is my first time doing a live to YouTube chat, so this was super fun for me as well. So thanks for all of your great questions and for being here. And yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week. Do we have anything? Serena, you all are so fun. Cassandra, inspiring. Thank you for sharing. Serena, I can't wait to finish my planner product. So many fun projects underway.
Oh my gosh,
Thank
I want to see it. I love planners so much.
Everybody loves planners.
I love them. And you know what? I have like 6 planners. So if you're like, they already have a planner, well, people like me buy multiples because I want to know which one's the best.
And we're here at Camilla's house, and right in front of me are 3 planners.
Yeah.
And even then, every time I have a planner and I do a giveaway and someone doesn't claim it, she's like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
People love getting multiple planners.
Yeah, we're looking for like best practice. So like I love using, right now I'm trying out the high performance habits planner because that came in our gift basket. But I love the Panda planner and then 90X and the Passion and like
the Commit 30.
Yeah, and there's so many and like, but I like them all.
Yeah.
And there's some that are better, so like the dailies and some are the monthlies, and
it's just like your purse. Whoever buys one purse or one pair of shoes, right?
Nobody.
Nobody. Multiple.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.